All right, folks, welcome to this week's episode of Living Vacationland, Mike and I's little project where we kind of dive into what makes Maine, Maine, the people that live here, and keep Maine being the weird place that it is. I think that's the biggest thing I've noticed with this. This is a weird fucking place.
Definitely. You get a little bit of everything here.
Yeah.
It is. Like, you get the postcard side, and then I'm more fascinated with the trucks that have rusted out rocker panels and the guy with like Trump's my homeboy stickers on the back, you know, like followed by a Prius.
Yeah, definitely, it's a weird state.
It is. It is. So that's what we're into. And I think we've got someone to talk to us this week that has some really weird shit that he's seen.
Yep.
I've seen some weird shit that I'd like to bring up and chat with you about. I'm sure you'll be just as fascinated by him.
Absolutely.
But this is Jim. He's on Instagram as England Steward. All-around outdoorsman, I think, is the easiest way to explain what you are. Like, I think why we vibe is because anything that's like old-timey survivalist, we're like, that's cool. I'll learn about that.
Yep.
You know, like, I listen to more stuff in podcasts than I ever do. You know.
Yeah, I'm just an avid outdoors nature lover.
Yep.
I saw wood on the side, and
Yeah, into lumber, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So you didn't
Rough
tell
cut
me
lumber.
that, yeah.
You'd know if you did your homework, bro.
Yeah. Well, I don't have social media, so.
Oh, you're not on Instagram?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I got off Instagram.
Makes
a couple
this
years
real
ago.
fun.
Yeah. Facebook like 9 years ago, I think.
It's getting more watered down, I feel,
Yeah.
It is.
as it goes, unfortunately. It's
Yeah.
not what it was 2 years ago.
Dude,
Yeah.
on the Avotum Network page, I can count when they throttle me. I'll get like 10 likes on it, and then it just nosedives,
Yeah.
which is roughly 10% of my following on there. So follow the Avotum page, even though I don't post anything on there. But yeah, no social media for Mike, but he's got a sort of wood workshop.
Well, I just ripped out my workshop and redoing the wood shop over here. I do a lot with like rough cut, like live edge lumber.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll definitely have to chat about that. My wife's cousin has a mill in town, but always looking for other stuff.
Yep. Cool.
How did you get into that?
Yeah.
You weren't doing that when I met you, were you?
No, so when I was actually met you, Jake, I was in between looking for a new job.
Yep.
That's sort of how we got to talking, and I found a guy out in Jefferson, Maine, who was just looking for a hand, and I wanted to learn how to cut lumber.
Yeah.
And
It's not as easy as you'd think it would be.
it's not.
We cut a
no,
few logs, and then we were like, oh, those are all going to be bowed.
It's
Like-
man,
Oh, and getting it to dimension, it's a bitch.
yeah. I mean,
It's fun, though.
it's
Taking
fun.
a log and turning it into these things that you can just pick up and move and
Yeah,
then build with
absolutely.
later.
It's
What do you mostly cut?
we mostly cut oak,
Yeah.
and we cut them into 4-foot lobster trap runners.
Oh, okay.
Actually, that's primarily what we do. But then we do rough cut boards,
Yeah.
beams,
Yep.
pretty much any kind of custom cut lumber people want.
Yeah.
We do a lot of tabletop, rough stuff.
We need a
People-
table.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we do.
We need a table.
yeah, hey, find a nice piece of cherry looks really good, man. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
rough cut on tabletop.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
what I would do.
I've had a bunch of slabs at Black Walnut for a while. I'm running out of them now. I got some elm coming,
Hell yeah.
but
What's your thoughts on the river tables?
River tables. Are you talking about like when people dive in the Androscoggin River? And
No, those are sick. I don't get an opinion on that. Those are just dope.
Yeah.
Are you talking about
The acrylic ones.
Yeah, I think they're really sweet.
Yeah.
But kind of overplayed.
Though, have you seen the new wave tables that they've been doing?
No.
Keep talking and I'll find it.
So I think a lot of people get a little crazy with the coloring acrylic
Yeah.
that they use, and it just kind of
Yeah.
throws the whole thing off
Yeah.
and look
Yeah.
natural. But no, dude, I think it's sweet.
I'd like to do one where there's water going through it. So you're pretty much just building a channel, and then there's an actual river going through this wood table.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
My father-in-law.
Dude, make it
wanted
into
to
a
do that.
bong.
Yep.
Little bong table. You find it?
That's coming up.
We need to tie into that thing. That's my...
So I've seen other ones where they would burn over the top of the table, and then they lay down acrylic after putting paint and stuff.
Did you see... Do you follow Eric Rav?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you see his little CNC bowl? He lit a bowl of weed and drew a weed leaf
I did see
into
that.
the
Yeah,
bowl
yeah, with the
with a CNC burner.
That's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and that's all flat top.
and he makes
That
it look
is
so easy
crazy.
too. Have you ever tried to draw a pot leaf, dude? It's not as easy as you think. It really isn't. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, that's all computer.
That's insane.
So he just put the computer coordinates into that thing. And
Yeah,
then a
it seems
computer
easier.
built that.
Oh, okay. I thought he was doing that by hand. I was like,
No.
what? This
Eric's
guy's just
talented, but
incredible.
not that.
I know. I need to get a small CNC, just like
Yeah,
a 20-inch by 20-inch.
Yeah. Have you messed around with any of them?
No,
No.
not at all.
They're wild,
So-
but they're like entry level. You're paying $1,000 for.
Right.
I know.
Chris has
Okay.
one.
Yeah. How big?
Small.
Yeah.
But he has access to a
He-
huge one.
Did he build it?
I don't
Because
know,
like you can get
maybe.
the kits semi cheap and then build them out,
Yeah.
but
Nice. So have you built anything out of the lumber yet?
Myself, no.
No?
No, I was just thinking the other day I'd like to get into some whittling. I was just over at my buddy's house,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
neighbor, and dude, he does these like salmon,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
trout, ducks, all these beautiful
you fish?
carvings. I'm a terrible fisherman.
Me too.
I'm
But that,
awful. I
that
do
wasn't
like
the question.
It. I do like it, and I'll get out when I can. I did not get a fishing license last year.
No.
So my buddy Yellow Shed Dog
Yep.
will take me out off York Harbor, and we'll go fishing for stripers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get out and do that.
We either catch a bunch or we catch nothing.
Yeah.
Dude, I got spoiled by that as a kid. My dad worked at Cousins Island,
Yep.
the power plant, and I'd go there at night with him, and he'd turn on the floodlights for the loading dock that they load crude oil onto, so they were rather bright. I think they were like 1,000-watt HPS lights on the side of a building. And we'd go out there at like 9 o'clock, and it would just bring in all the bait fish. We'd mackerel jig for a
That's
little
smart.
bit, and then striper bass fish. Like, I never didn't catch fish.
Except the one time you brought me.
There?
Yeah, we went out there.
And you didn't catch anything?
No,
Yeah, don't fish with Mike.
no, I'm a bad omen.
Catch any squid or
No.
no squid?
No.
That's yeah. I'd like to catch squid.
Do you fly fish?
No, and I've never fly fished.
Yeah,
It's so much more fun to suck at, dude.
yeah, you're at least doing
Yeah.
something.
Dude, the casting feeling of it, I know you'd love it.
Yeah,
It's so addicting.
Yeah.
That's I'm like giving up on photography this summer. Like, I'm bringing my
What?
camera
No.
with me. Dude, I'm fucking over it. Nobody pays for it. Like, I just go
And
out
I
there.
messaged you 2 weeks ago. I'm like, dude,
Fuck.
you got any prints?
Fuck. I have some here, actually.
yeah.
There's
I really,
some-
I'd love a print of those foxes, the family of foxes.
that didn't come out good.
really not quality,
It's like,
you know.
yeah, dude, it was like dusk. It was one of those things that I was like, I know I'm not going to get a good photo out of this, but like, there's 3 fucking fox kits playing in the middle of a field.
Yeah.
Like,
So awesome.
I'm going to shoot this.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. I think I have a print. Actually,
There's a
one of
fox
those
print here, yeah.
Dude, what I love about it is it's like this,
Actually,
it's like the left out kid in the foreground. You know what I mean? There's one fox that's
Playing
just
by
sitting
himself.
like this.
Not even-
No, he's sad. And then there's 2 out back just like beating the shit out of each other. It's so like personable, you know?
That's awesome.
We're going to start giving away prints on here. Maybe that'll be the first one I give away.
Don't give up your photography, man.
I'm not giving it up, but like it's not.
Spending
I'm
less
gonna-
time on it.
I'll come into better stories if I'm out there trying to catch fish than shoot moose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm patient on a river, then a moose will walk by.
Yeah.
If I'm out there pursuing a moose, you know how that goes.
Yeah. I always just run into them.
Yeah, exactly. Dude,
Just
half
happens.
the time,
Usually you don't want it to happen either, but
right. I went up, I usually take 1 week a year and go up and like try and find moose. And the day I was leaving, all packed up, heading back south, I go by this bog that I had checked every fucking night, like did my little moose tour, and there's a moose sitting there. I'm like, awesome. Like, all my camera gear is in the back. I got Ava in the back of the car, like, I still got good photos of it, but
what's the best time of year for you to go out looking for moose?
I go out in the summer because it's just like accessible. But I honestly have been dreaming about the winter moose picture.
yeah.
I need that. I think that's where I need to be the next summer, is more targeted with what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, whereas you were always just.
What are you
going
jacking
the
off on
kayak.
my fucking photos, Mike?
Hey, I haven't.
Oh, that woodpecker's
Well, no,
cool.
I did take those out.
You can take whatever you
That's
want out of
pretty
that.
Yeah, that's a nice
Pile.
photo.
Little sneak peek for you guys at home too. Mike will get off his ass one day.
Yeah, get some
Frame
frames
one
up.
of these.
There he is. Sad.
I love it, dude.
Is
They
that
got
the one you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They look like bears.
I know they do.
I thought they were bear cubs at first.
I have yet to get a bear photo.
That's a hard one, man. I mean, I've
I've
been.
seen one bear.
Go run around in the spring up north.
Yeah.
It's not too hard.
I want to get out with you this year. So
you
that's the
should.
thing is I want to get further away from photography, but I want to start telling the stories of people that go in the woods.
I think you'd really like shed hunting, honestly. Even
Yeah, I'd
It's
love to
fun,
train
dude.
Ava to it.
It's
do
fun.
it, but that ain't happening.
Yeah. Yeah, that bear photo's hard. Like, we've been hiking for 15 years, and I've seen one bear in North Conway in a car. And that's it.
I
How
almost
long did
hit-
you see it for?
Like 5 seconds, it was crossing the road.
I almost hit
Yeah.
one in North Conway, 113.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep. I thought it was a black
How many have you
lab.
seen?
In my life?
Yeah.
I've seen 2 in Maine, and I've seen 2 in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Have you shot one?
My grandfather's a big bear hunter.
Yeah.
My dad shot one.
Did he?
Yeah.
Deer
Wild
hunting
deer
too,
hunting.
right? Yeah.
That is the way to do it.
Dude, it's
That's
350 pounds dressed.
Cool. Oh my god.
Yeah. And then he got there and they were like, you're not supposed to dress or bear in the field. He was like, I was fucking out
Yeah.
deer hunting. I
You
had
can.
no idea.
So the only
Well, the records are done
Oh, be-
undressed.
because
they were like,
yeah.
you probably would have been up in the record.
400
Yeah.
pounds probably.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big bear.
So he told me that he took the first shot and it just looked over its shoulder at him. Like barely even phased him. And then he was like, fuck, this is going to take some power to get this thing down. And my dad was like a deer every year type of guy. Like he wasn't.
Was he up in northern Maine or?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he was by our camp up by Kingsbury.
Yep.
But he unloaded his fucking clip on the thing and had to call his buddy in to finish the thing off.
Tough
Like-
animals, man.
I'm sure some of it
Wicked.
too is like after that first shot and you don't get it down.
Yeah,
Like,
just
what's
freaking
your
out.
mental
Oh, yeah,
capacity to be like shooting well?
Yeah. I don't
After
know.
that.
I've never been in that situation. I can only imagine I'd have deer fever times 100.
So you want to
Yeah.
hear the nasty end to that story? We had bear meat. We had like ground bear meat a couple times, and I liked it. I think bear's pretty good
Yeah.
if prepared well.
Yep.
But my parents went on vacation to like, I think it was when they went to Jamaica or something.
Oh, they lose power?
No, the fucking fridge just died.
Oh.
That sucks. They lose most of the
Dude,
animal.
we opened the door to the
You'll
basement.
smell it immediately. Oh,
No, the basement was just covered in blood. It looked like a fucking murder scene.
Oh.
Like
Oh, it's
everything
right out of the fridge, yeah.
thawed. It wasn't thawing. It was
Yeah.
thawed.
Oh.
That's
It
a
was
bummer.
disgusting.
Yeah, it sucks.
So that 350-pound animal.
Couple burgers. And,
Yeah.
Oh, it just makes you.
Oh well, worse stuff happens, I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
I've heard a lot of weird karma around bear hunting. Like a lot of people, once they get their first one, they're like, I'm good. Like I don't need to kill
You have
another
to
one
love
of
the meat
those.
in order to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it. And my
And it's a
grandfather's.
certain type of person that likes that meat. You're
Yeah.
eating a predator. That's like the only predator in America that we're like, we eat that.
Yeah. And I'm not convinced I'm all for the way that we hunt bear. Like, I don't know enough about it, but the whole.
Baiting
like,
them?
Yeah, baiting bears with
But
buckets
you've
of
said it
donuts
yourself,
just-
dude. You've seen one out of a car by
Oh, no,
mistake.
for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
From what I've heard is bear hunting in Maine is very different than hunting out in like Montana.
Yeah.
You can't just glass them from
Right.
500 yards away. Typically, I mean, you could if you'd be in the right spot.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, it's all thick brush. And,
it's so thick.
Yeah.
And my grandfather swears unless you're deer hunting and just happen to see one,
yeah.
and that's right before they hibernate
Right.
Yeah.
in November. So that's your last shot to get a bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pretty much need to bait or use
Yeah.
hounds in order to even stand a chance.
Yeah.
Less than 3% of all bears are harvested by
Yeah.
a deer hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I totally agree with it from, like, a population standpoint. It's just from, like, hunting, I feel like I would feel
That's
less
not-
of a person, like...
To me, that's
Yeah.
not really hunting. However,
yeah.
if you're going for the meat and you need that meat, you
Oh,
look bear
absolutely.
meat.
Yeah.
And also, the other thing about baiting, one pro argument
Yeah.
is it's really ethical in terms of how you can line that animal up to take an ethical shot.
Yeah, clean kill. Yeah.
So you
Well,
want
and
to
you're
have
getting-
broad, and especially with a bear. So a deer, you probably got like a good 12 inches of lung, and then the liver behind it. So you got a pretty good size area.
Yeah.
If you miss that, the heart, you're still gonna have a kill shot.
Yeah.
With a bear, you cannot be off within 7 or 8 inches. of
Yeah.
your target somewhere,
Yeah.
or it's gonna get wounded and
Yeah.
take off.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
even shittier.
It sounds like that's what happened with my dad.
Yeah.
Like, it hit
More
it,
than
and it was
likely,
just like,
yeah.
what the fuck
Do you
was
know how
that
far-
feeling?
You know what the distance was?
I don't know. I'll have to ask him next time I talk to him.
That's
Yeah.
still an awesome
Yeah.
story, though, dude.
So are you
Yeah.
just allowed to shoot a bear if you're out
Yeah,
deer
you
hunting?
get a bear permit with your deer.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Only in November. So in
Yeah.
October, off limits.
Yeah.
I didn't know
During bow
that.
season, yeah. So
That's weird.
Yeah,
That would
because that's
be-
way harder.
that would be my dream, though. I want to
Bear
get
with
into
a
bear.
bow?
Yeah, bear with a bow during deer season, not even over bait.
Yeah.
Stocking up on it or something. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But,
I sent him.
I'm on the fence about baiting myself, but
Yeah.
I know we have to do it in Maine in order to maintain the population, and in order to keep them afraid of people.
Oh yeah, I'm not against people doing it. I just don't know if I could.
Yeah.
Like it just wouldn't feel
Kind
the
of takes
same.
the fun out of it.
Yeah.
Have you heard the story out in British Columbia?
I feel like is this one of Cameron Haynes?
Sort
things?
of, yeah. Like they all voted. Everyone, all the voting powers in Vancouver.
Yeah.
So everybody in Vancouver was like, we don't want bear hunting. And then they banned bear hunting, and everybody that's out in the sticks where there's grizzlies,
Yeah.
all of a sudden there's a lot more grizzlies.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck?
Attacks are going up.
Yeah, you're in
Yeah.
the city of Vancouver. Like it doesn't matter to you.
I don't know
Like,
how people even go out into bear country like that. Dude.
Yeah.
Even being armed and shit.
Dude, Russia is on my list of like places I want to go shoot. There are so many predators that live in that country.
Oh yeah.
They've got like 15 apex predators between the southern portion and
Yeah, you got big cats.
big cats.
Yeah.
What about mountain lions? Let's ease into the full
Okay,
spectrum topic.
sure.
Yeah.
Where are we at on mountain lions?
So I think they're here in Maine. I
do
think
too.
most outdoorsmen do think that they're here.
Yeah.
There's too many sightings.
I don't think there's
Yeah.
a lot of them. I think there's
no.
a nice stable.
So I've never found a track. I don't know anybody. Well, actually, okay, I take that back. I do have a friend who swears he found a track up on Little Spencer Mountain, up above First Roach Pond,
Okay.
up past Greenville.
Yeah.
But that very well could have been a lynx track. I have found lynx
Yeah.
tracks. They're huge.
Yeah.
They're literally like this big.
Yeah,
so,
Yeah. They look just like a house cat,
Yes.
but like
yeah.
10
Perfectly
times bigger.
round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you follow Josh Tripp?
Who?
Josh Tripp.
No, I don't.
He just got a lynx on New Year's
Really?
Day. I'm pretty sure it was a lynx. They're the ones.
What do you
they
think?
have, like,
What's up with lynx hunting?
So
You for it? That doesn't seem like
so-
something we
so-
need to kill.
Well, I think it
in
could've been.
Maine, we've got like 8,000 lynx. They
Mm-hmm.
think roughly. There's no need to be controlling their population at
Right.
the moment. Their population in the last decade has just risen, I think, by double,
Yeah.
according to studies. So I don't think there's any need to control them at the moment in Maine.
Does it
but
make you
in
sad
Canada,
when you see it?
No. So here's the thing. I'm all for predator control and
Yeah.
predator hunting and mountain lion hunting out west, wolf hunting. It's just about how you
Coyote?
go about it. Coyote, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not for total annihilation of anything,
Yeah.
obviously.
Right. Yeah, that's when I see a coyote. The people that have like the coyotes laid out on the
Yeah.
ice, and there's like 15 of them. But then you look into it, and if you don't take out the whole pack, the pack the next year has more. What is it? Kits?
Yeah. So, who was that guy that did that study? I can't remember his name. Anyway, supposedly a female coyote can have upwards of 20 pups
Holy fuck!
In
I
a year,
didn't realize it was
or
that.
in a litter.
in one litter.
Jesus.
And supposedly, if you take out a bunch of her family or her pack before that time, before the mating season, somehow her body knows how to produce
Right.
more.
Wow.
And that is a fact.
So it's almost
know a
like
guy-
it looks weird when you see the 15, but it's really worse when you see the one. When some guy goes out and shoots one coyote, it's like you didn't deal with your fucking problem.
Yeah, I guess in a way. If I see one going under my deer stand, I'm going to shoot it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that going to do a whole lot? No. Might it save a deer or two this winter? Yeah,
Yeah.
it could. So coyotes don't give birth until.
Do you also
the spring.
appreciate them as
The
an animal,
spring.
though?
Yes, absolutely.
It's one of those, like,
yeah.
I get your point in the ecosystem, but...
They're here forever. I mean,
Yeah.
they're part of the woods and
Right.
nature and
Yeah.
the cycle of life.
What about fox hunting?
I had
Can
an
you do that in Maine?
Yep.
Yeah.
You could all of rifle season, you can shoot fox.
Yeah.
Really?
I had an opportunity to take one with my bow 2 years ago. I had it in my sight and everything.
Yep.
I'll start the story over. So I was sitting on the ground. I had a little stick blind that I had built next to an apple tree. It was an awesome spot. I'd see deer almost every time, 20 yards, if the wind was in my face. And it was the last day of hunting season. It was snowing. And I heard something come up on a log behind me, and I turn around. And from here to the chair here, there's a fox face to face. Like, holy shit. And it took off. And it ran around, and I was like, okay. And it came right back to me, and I drew my bow, had it in my sight, and was like, nope, not shooting it today.
Yeah.
Really?
It's too beautiful. It came right back to me, too. It was like
Yeah.
curious, you know?
I think I'd have a hard time shooting
Yeah.
a fox.
At that point, I didn't have any chickens to protect. This
Yeah.
is right behind my house,
Yeah.
too. So I was just like, if there's not a reason to kill something, I'm not going to kill it.
Yeah.
Right. Because you don't do anything with them other than the fur, right?
Pelt.
The pelt, yeah.
But yeah, I'm not shooting a coyote for a pelt. Not
Right.
shooting a coyote or a fox for a pelt. I'll shoot a coyote to save a deer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
understand
my view on it.
coyote a little bit more than fox. Fox, every interaction I've had with them is so magical that I'm like,
Pretty awesome creatures, man.
They are.
I have no
dude, I had a
intention-
stare off with one in my kayak, and me clicking the shutter is what like phased it.
Did it hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it bolted. I've found that, so one of my reasons that I go out in the kayak to shoot a lot is because your approach, you never have legs. So your threat level is way down on the like visual spectrum. You're never running at them. You're, especially on a river,
I
you
see.
can just drift.
So they don't even know what you are.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is coming down the river?
That makes a lot
know?
of sense.
You're half the size, so you're half the threat.
Yeah.
You know.
I never even thought about it like that.
I noticed
Plus
it, and you're
not making any sound.
right.
Yeah.
And you're going down this corridor of life. You know what I mean? Like you're not trudging through a field. You're like going down a water source. Every animal drinks water.
Yeah.
You know.
Have you run into otters before?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They're probably my favorite animal.
Me too.
Yeah, they're cool.
Honestly.
Yeah. The fact that they're so active through the winter too.
Yeah.
Like they're one of the few animals that's just like, no.
Yeah.
They do a lot of fishing in the wintertime.
do.
They'll clean out a whole, like a beaver pond
Yeah.
in the winter. No problem.
Do they fight with the beavers? Do they get along?
That's a good question. I imagine they're territorial.
Right.
They gotta be.
To a point. It's probably like
I can't imagine
if the food
beavers like 'em
source is
around.
okay, we're good.
Yeah.
But I don't think they compete for the same food. Beavers don't
They
eat
don't?
fish.
No, they don't.
No. I think they're totally herbivores.
Gotcha.
And I think
Should have known that.
the otters just eat fish, but I could be wrong. Some
Yep.
vegetation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Back to the mountain lion though, real
Yeah,
quick.
sorry.
My mom swears she saw one in Pittston in like 1994.
Yeah.
And what's most vivid in her memory, like a lot of people, is the long tail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She swears she saw a 3 foot plus long tail at the end, and she's like, it wasn't a deer, I swear. All right.
Where's Pittston?
It's right next to Randolph, Gardner.
Okay.
It's on the other side of the Kennebec.
Okay. So not super far
Headed
north,
out toward
but
Whitefield.
past kind of the civilized.
Yeah, it's like what, 45 of Auburn?
45 minutes?
Yeah.
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 Well, and they move like miles a day, right?
I really don't know a lot about
No?
mountain lions, but I know they have an incredible range. It's
Let's
over-
have you back sometime, and we'll all research
Yeah,
mountain lions.
it's
and
over
discuss
100
it.
miles.
Yeah, when I was
Yeah.
I was in Bryce Canyon and they were talking because they have some out there, and they said their like territory was getting smaller just because there was like more
Development.
civilization coming in.
Right.
But yeah, I think they said like a juvenile was like 50 or 75 miles, and like an adult was well over 100 miles in a day. Like
That's
their
crazy.
territories. Yeah.
I don't want to get this number wrong, but I know someone told me that there was a collared coyote that went like 60 miles in a night or something.
Yeah.
One night.
It wouldn't surprise me. It's
That's wild.
well, I mean, you think like an ultra runner, you can run 50 miles in
Yeah.
4 or 6 hours.
It's crazy thinking about what the natives used to move. Like the hunters that used to just like chase down deer. You've heard about them, right?
No.
Dude, there
I have
was
no idea.
tribes that they would chase down and then strangle the deer.
like corner it? Or
No, one guy would
jump out of the tree?
outrun this deer. No, they'd tire the deer up.
Jeez.
Like
That's insane.
they'd die doing it. They'd go out in like the hundreds, and you'd just like
In hot heat.
probably, yeah. I think
Okay.
I'm guessing this is plains.
Yeah,
You're not
yeah.
doing this through
So
the forest.
weird, dude. What? They just didn't have the means to make a bow and arrow at the time? Or?
I think you figure it out, and
Yeah.
this is our way of doing it. You know? I don't know.
Learned something new today.
Then you gotta drag it back 100 miles.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like the next group's coming. 'cause
Yeah.
Quarter it up, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jeez.
Yeah.
I did find over in Jefferson this past winter, right after the snow melted, Oakley found it actually. It was a freshly killed doe
Mm-hmm.
that had been covered in leaves. And it was definitely a cat cache, is what they call
Really?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend thinks it was a bobcat, but mountain lions have been seen in that area.
Yeah.
And that is something a mountain lion would do. Definitely a cat, because
Yeah.
coyotes won't cover a deer carcass like that.
Really?
Yep.
So they just come back to it? Or?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I put a trail camera over it, and nothing ever came back.
Yeah.
Really? They just
Nothing
left
came
it
back. Yeah, Coyotes didn't even hit it afterward.
That's
I came back a week later, and Oakley dug it back up out of the snow.
there? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Is that a Bigfoot potential thing? Do they do
No.
that shit?
Well,
I guess
anything.
Are they carnivores?
A lot of people.
This is the reason
Yes,
we had
yes.
Jim come on today.
So
was to
I don't know.
discuss-
So I really don't know much about Bigfoot. All I know is what I've researched and what I've experienced.
Do you want to
it
tell us your
makes-
experience first? Do you want to start there?
Sure. Okay. Yep. So, geez, I never had even any thoughts about Bigfoot until I got into looking for deer antlers 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And my buddy had a sweet little 70-acre parcel in Wiscasset. It was dope. He was just leasing it. And any opportunity I got, I went out there.
Yeah.
Big deer yard, dude. Like 100 deer would hang out in his backyard.
Yeah.
In a group. And
In the winter or all?
mostly in the wintertime.
Yeah.
It was like a wintering deer yard. So
Yeah.
it wasn't hard to find antlers. Every time I go out, I find an antler or two.
Yeah.
And I just became obsessed immediately. And it's before I got the dog. And let's see, I'm trying to think of my very first, like, what the hell is going on here type thing. I was out looking for antlers in a new spot I'd never been to. There's a big stream that abuts the whole property in the back. And you can't really cross it except for the wintertime when it freezes over, unless you want to walk a snowmobile trail about a mile in one direction to get over this bridge.
Yeah.
And that's what I was doing. I was heading toward this bridge. And on the way, I noticed there was some bunch of deer tracks in the snow off to the side. And this it's an evergreen pocket. It's just hemlocks.
Yep.
So it looked like a good place for deer to go in and bed down, get some thermal cover from the wind and cold and stuff. And it's a good place to look for antlers, just thermal cover. So that was my intention going into this pocket. And about 25 yards in, I just started to get this really uneasy feeling. And I never felt it before this happened, and I haven't felt it since. And it was just really uneasy, almost I could feel something watching me type thing. I don't know if you've ever felt that before, but it freaked me out. And I turned around. Visibility wasn't very good in this area. I was thinking, hey, if there is a mountain lion or something, I wouldn't be able to see it.
Right.
Yeah.
It could be 20, not even 20 feet from me, and I wouldn't be able to see it. So I backed up and went back to the snowmobile trail, and then I went across the snowmobile trail into this old clear cut, been cut like 4 or 5 years ago. And
So you abandoned going over across the river.
sort of along the way going over to the river, I'm seeing deer sign here, deer sign there. Oh, that looks like a good place to look for antlers.
So this feeling isn't what spooked you out of it. You would just
that feeling spooked me out. Yeah,
you were like, fuck crossing the river.
Yeah, so I wasn't even trying to cross the river at that
Oh, okay.
point. I was just checking out this hemlock grove where there were definitely deer beds.
Okay.
Where they'd been hanging out, sleeping, whatever. And I got that feeling, and I did not want to find out why I was having that feeling.
Yeah.
I didn't even question it. It's one of those things like fight or flight.
Yeah, I've only had a few times in the woods where I'm not curious about what
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah.
But those times I'm like, can I just be home now?
Yeah.
So what's weird is on a different occasion, I'll go back to the original story,
Mm-hmm.
but on a different occasion we heard I had a friend of mine with me, and we heard something screaming out in the woods. It was like a howl. Howl's a better way of putting it. But it was like a 3-tone howl. I can't even replicate it, dude, but it sounded like a train engine, like a train horn. Like, that was my best description. There's no trains anywhere near there. And I wanted to pursue it. My buddy was like, dude, don't. I'm not even going to let you. That's freaking me out.
Really?
He was like shaking, like, this guy, he's got all this experience. He won't go with me. Like, just come with me. I want to see what's howling over
Yeah.
there, dude. It was a quarter mile away, it sounded like.
Did you have a gun?
No. And I actually never go out in the woods armed, and I probably ought to start doing that up in bear
that's
country.
kind of where I'm at on it.
Because the dog
My
and
mom's friend up north was like, "Oh, you don't kayak with a gun?"
kayak with a gun.
Like 60-year-old woman's just like, "How you don't have one of those
Hey, I
going
guess
out
if you're in
over
a
there?"
swamp, yeah.
Which is like what I go out into,
Yeah.
dude.
Are you gonna stop a moose coming at you really though? With good luck.
I'd have such a hard time
The
shooting a
kayak.
moose when it's like my fault too.
What I've been told is if a moose charges you, just get behind a tree if you can.
Yeah. Oh, while I'm in my kayak,
Yeah,
bro?
yeah, right. But that's the other thing. That just doesn't make sense.
No.
Have a gun in your kayak, but
Yeah.
we did run into bear cubs this past spring, and that was
Yeah.
hairy.
Yeah.
Yep, I knew that the mom wasn't far, and Oakley was all into it, trying to get him out.
My similar vibes to what you were saying was when I've realized I'm like deep in bear area. Like I've had a few portages at waterfalls, and I'm looking around, and all of a sudden it's just bear shit central, and
Yeah.
you're like, "Fuck, this is a feeding zone for this bear."
Yeah,
Which means there's fish in this water, so let's continue. But
yep.
let's get the fuck back in the water.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
But they've been, I don't know, maybe it's a different feeling than what you got, but I get the vibe, if Bigfoot exists, it's probably similar vibes to when you come across an apex predator, that it's up to them if you live.
And that's what I've
Yeah.
heard
You know
from
what I
a
mean?
lot of people. They describe it the exact same way, like an apex predator type
Yeah.
encounter.
Because I know a bear, anytime you see a bear and see into its eyes, it's up to that bear if you're leaving.
Pretty much.
You know? It's not,
You're not going to outrun it.
No.
yeah,
You're not going to outfight it.
no,
No.
Khabib might.
What's that?
Khabib might.
Yeah.
So,
So I came out of the woods, went
Yeah.
across the trail. I'm looking for deer antlers, and this spot was not easy to walk through. You know, certain areas, they're just blowdowns everywhere. You can't walk 2 feet without having to go up over a log. It was like that. And, I remember actually, this was in March. This is March of 2017. Make sure I get this right. And a lot of the snow had melted off in some areas. And this one spot, there was some mud, and it had just freshly thawed ground, and there was a big track. And upon first glance, I was like, holy shit, it's got to be a moose track. Cool, there's moose out here. I thought there would be eventually. And I look at it, I'm looking over it, I'm like, there's no hoof. And I'm like, shit, this looks almost more like a boot track now. I could see the heel, and this track was a good 20 inches long. And it looked just like my boot track, except I hadn't stepped in the spot. And it had clear toes in the end of it, 5 toes. And I didn't really think much of it, to be honest, at the time. I was like, that could just be a sploof, like maybe the way a tree hit the
Right.
ground.
Yeah.
And, you know,
in the middle of a thaw, it's real hard to just figure out what the hell you're looking at.
yeah.
You know?
Except I could tell that whatever made this made it within the last day
Yeah.
or two. It was pretty fresh.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I'm just trying to think in my mind, I'm like, did a log come down and hit this just right to make this impression, or what the hell? It's not a moose track. And I just kind of forgot about it. I'm still not thinking Bigfoot anything at this time.
Right.
So,
And this isn't that long ago, 3 years ago.
yeah, 3 years, not even, it will be 3 years in
Right.
March.
Yeah.
So, so I keep going, I forget about it. A few hours later, I'm getting ready to go back to my car. I've had a day, the sun's starting to go down, and I'm walking again on the snowmobile trail. I did end up going all the way to the stream and back. I didn't cross the stream that day. Coming back on the trail, and I see 5 or 6 turkeys on a ridge up in front of me. And I stop. I'm just kind of watching them, seeing what they're doing, and I don't know, a minute goes by, and then I hear something slap a tree. On this tree, bluebird day, no wind, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
This big tree just goes down, man. Maybe 55, 75 yards from me. Not very far at all. It was enough to make the hair on my neck stand up. Why is a tree falling? There's no wind, nothing. Sure, things can break at any point and give out, but I heard something slap that tree first.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget it. And I just ran out of the woods, honestly. I was pretty fucking scared. And then after that, I don't know. I don't really remember thinking about it for very long until I found the stick structures on one of my next excursions. And that was across from that stream.
These are interesting.
And they're weird.
Can you?
Yeah.
Do you know what he's talking about?
No. Gotta pee real quick.
Okay.
So I'm out across the stream, and I just noticed it's just one group of sticks after another. I'm looking at them, and I'm noticing that they were definitely put together. Some of them even had a stick that was woven intricately in through the
Okay.
middle.
Like a
And-
stringer, kind of.
Right.
That's weird.
A lot of them had it. And so the sticks didn't all come from the trees around them. That was the other strange thing.
Mm-hmm.
There were oak sticks, birch sticks mixed in, and this was pure pine, hemlock. So it didn't really make any sense. Whatever brought these sticks over dragged them from a good ways away.
Huh.
Some of them.
Were you near houses at all?
Not even close. I'd say the closest house as the bird flies from there would be almost a mile.
Okay.
So, and then that popped into my head. I was like, are kids coming out here and making
Right.
stick
I'd do
structures?
that
'Cause
shit.
that's something I would do as a kid. Why not? But
Right.
I'd be a lot closer to my house.
But we went over that earlier. As kids don't play anymore.
Kids don't play. Yeah, kids.
It's a weird fucking kid in 2017 to be out there.
It's weird to see a kid out in their front yard.
Yeah. Maybe that's the hope. The hope is that they're out building stick forts.
I wish.
In the woods.
Honestly,
They're not yard kids. They're wood kids.
So I just gotta say too, I don't want to believe in Bigfoot. This shit's fucking creeped me out so
Yeah.
much that I cannot muster up the courage to go to my tree stand before first light anymore.
Really?
I can't, and I'm all right for some reason. I don't mind walking out of the woods right at first dark, but I won't go in before first light.
Well, if Bigfoot exists, they know that there's a lot more people in the woods just after the sun goes down than just before it comes up.
Probably.
Like dusk is not.
And I honestly don't think that these things don't really want to see you any more than you want to see them.
Right.
For me, I don't want to be yelled at, screamed at. I want things being thrown at me. I don't want to see one. I definitely don't want to fucking see one.
Right.
I will not be going back out in the woods the next day if I do.
What if it was friendly? Do you think they're
That would be cool.
human-ish at all?
So yes, yeah, we'll get into that. I think they're.
Let me tell you my experience that I'm a little bit
Please.
on the fence about.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I've told you this. I think I might have told it on the show, but I'll try and be quick with it because it's plausible with this. But so actually, I'll tell you another story that is linked into this one that I think I might have just made a connection on. But I had a grow house up in Strong. I think that might have been when we started following each other. Maybe. I don't know.
For the dehumidifier.
Yeah,
fire.
where the
Yep.
dehumidifier blew up. Check your recalls on your shit, people. It's a killer.
Was
So-
that recalled?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was like what saved me.
Oh my
like-
god.
Yeah. So I had the house up there. It was like no internet available at the house type of out there. It was in the middle of
Off
nowhere.
grid, basically.
Yeah. Like
Do you
it
have
was
power running to the house?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was right on a main road, but there was no internet to the house. It was like that far out that even on the main road they're like,
Yeah,
nope.
where I live, you have to have cable in order to have internet. Or no, I'm sorry, you have to have a landline in order to
Oh,
have
really?
internet. Yeah.
Wow. Damn. So I was pretty far out there, and behind the house was, like 300 plus acres of nothing. It was like a bog behind the house, and then just nothing forever. Because upper Kennebec Valley, really, or lower
Were there
Kennebec.
hardwood ridges and stuff around the bog, or just more flat?
Yeah, it was. You could tell it had been logged at one point, but not for a long, long time. Like there was big trees back there, and a lot of birch. I found a lot of chaga out there. It's where I realized that there's a sweet spot in elevation for chaga.
Interesting.
Like when you start seeing it, it's like roughly around this like certain elevation. I never quite figured it out, but like I'd hike higher than this elevation and it would go away.
You should take your GPS out there sometime.
I should.
See.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So I was out there with Ava, and it was 300 plus acres, so I just let Ava go, and she would dart around like crazy. Like, she doesn't really hike with me. She
Chasing
goes on her
squirrels,
own adventure
rabbits.
while I hike. Yeah. And she bolted ahead of me on this old logging road, like well-grown-in logging road. You've seen how I hike. I'm like, there's a hole through those trees. Let's see where that goes. And I look to my right, and there's this... You know, in the middle of hardwood forests, how you'll get those little bursts of like evergreens, but they're all tightly knit. It's like this shrubby.
They're short, but they're thick. Yep.
Yeah. So there was one of those to my right, and all of a sudden I hear this noise go from the ground like 10 feet, 15 feet up. But it wasn't like something crawling up a tree. It was like if I was to get up in the woods, like from a nap. You know what I mean? It was like this thing got up. And I never saw it. It was one of those, like, every hair on my body stuck up. And I was like, Ava, we're going out.
Who knows, man? Could be anything, honestly.
My thought was bear.
It could have even... Deer make a ton of noise.
Right. Could have been a deer.
Yep.
I mean, especially if it's a big buck and they're making noise to make themselves seem bigger.
But think about that too. Okay, so whatever was bedded down there because there was cover.
Right. Yeah.
And I think these creatures...
And they were smart enough not to bolt.
Yep.
They just...
So that's weird. That's interesting.
Because a deer probably would have bolted.
I would say probably like 9 times out of 10 a deer is going to bolt.
Right.
I've walked past bucks before that will literally just not even get up out of bed, and they'll just stay perfectly still and watch you walk right by.
Really?
Yeah. 15, 20 yards.
Yep.
How they just know.
Right.
They know they're safer sometimes. They
Yeah.
do that. That's weird though. So was there another? You said there was another connecting.
Yeah. Well, and the other weird thing I found about that is that there's no real resolution with it, which is something that I've found with a lot of the Bigfoot stuff. It's just a weird encounter that ends in nothing.
And you can't explain.
You're just left there going, I just saw that. I didn't like make that up.
Yeah.
That, you know, and the feeling you get is like, it was the first time that I was like, I should have a gun in the woods. Like, why are you out in the middle of, you know, I'm not on a trail.
I mean, you could run into a crazy person out in the woods
Exactly.
too.
Yep.
And people,
especially in those areas that they know aren't getting logged.
Yep.
You know.
So, one quick tangent, real quick.
Yep.
A lot of people believe that Bigfoots are able to emit like a frequency that we can't hear but we can feel. What do they call that? It's like
kind of like dogs with the trainer.
Exactly.
Yep.
A lot of people think that's what they're able to do. There's cases where people have been sick, got headaches, they've lost track of time.
Yep.
And that has happened to me once, but I don't really want to talk about that encounter. It wasn't an encounter. I was just out hiking, and I swear I was walking in a straight line, and somehow I ended up behind where I was walking from, and I lost all track of time. It made no sense to me, but it's easy to make a circle at the same time in the woods, and I'm just gonna pretend that's what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forget what it's like. Ultra something frequency, but a lot of people...
I've heard of that. I've heard that there's like a paranormally side to the Bigfoot.
So here's the other thing. There's a lot of other paranormal things that are associated with encounters. A lot of people will see orbs or UFOs shortly afterward, or even during the encounter. I don't know.
Yeah.
My
other tangent story with that, just to finish that one up, because I know you'll be intrigued by it, and I didn't link these two until now, and it might not be linked, but there was a sand pit down the hill. I basically lived up the hill from the Sandy River. There was a sand pit below, and it was like aggressive, and then like shallowed out to that bog, and then down the hill from it there was a big sand pit, and then the Sandy River. So the people that were working in the sand pit came up to my house one day and knocked on my door, and they were like, "Hey, you have a little dog, right?" And I was like, "Yes." "What?" And they were like, "Nothing, it's fine. We just figured we'd let you know. We showed up to work today, and there was a half-eaten moose carcass in the pit." And they were like, "We think there's a family of mountain lions, like a pack of, or a like group of cubs and a mountain lion living down there in a den."
Did they see tracks in the sand? Do you know?
I don't
probably
know.
might not have been in the
I
sand.
wasn't. Yeah, I don't think they mentioned tracks, but
That
just one of those
that
weird-
freaks me out.
Yeah.
Alone, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, if they work down there, they're there every day. Suddenly they show up the next morning and there's a half-eaten.
Yeah.
moose. We're not talking a deer; it's a moose. Like that was when Ava lost her like free roam privileges. It's like, okay, I don't need you out.
Do you know, was that during the wintertime?
Nope,
Okay. That's strange. 'cause
fall.
Coyotes, I mean, it depends on the size of the moose, but a pack of coyotes will have no problem taking on a moose.
Right,
In the wintertime.
right.
Pretty hard in the summertime. They still do it. They'll take smaller calves and stuff, but
And a mountain lion feeding babies. Who knows?
there's a lot of
And we're in northern Maine, so half-eaten.
there's a
I
lot
don't
of
know what that
reports.
means.
I've heard reports of people who have claimed to see Bigfoot with a deer over his shoulder. I definitely think that they would eat both plants and meat
Right,
in order to survive. They would have to, I would think, in order. They're freaking huge.
right.
People claim. The average report, they're between like 6 and 8 feet tall. I've heard reports of them going upwards of 13 feet tall.
Right. Well, and there's nothing saying that they're all the same species either. It could be just like bears, where there's grizzly bears out in
People
BC.
confusing different cryptids too, or
Yeah.
you know,
Is that the classification of these?
cryptids are just unknown creatures.
Right. Dude, that pisses me off the most with UFO articles. Is everybody freaks out when the military is like, "We saw a UFO," and I'm like, that means they saw an unidentified
Yeah.
flying object. Like,
Yeah, it could be somebody.
they're
in a
literally
bush plane.
classifying it as
Yeah.
what it is. They don't know what it is.
I saw a UFO back in September, right
Did
in
you?
Jefferson, right across from my house.
I've
10
gotten
o'clock
some
at night.
weird photos.
Yeah.
Like the whole digital photography thing has really put a little bit of a question mark into the whole UFO thing. Like I've got lights in the sky that it's like, explain that to me, because all of the stars are going like this.
Do you have internet right here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Look up cigar-shaped UFO.
I have seen that.
Did you see that?
Yeah,
It's pretty weird.
you got a computer right in front of you.
Yeah, it takes too long.
What was that last week that was filmed? I think, like New York City or something.
Oh, I didn't see this. I've seen, because that's not the first one that they've seen that's like a cigar shape.
No, cigar-shaped UFOs are pretty common.
Right.
That and the classic orb, which is what I saw in Jefferson back in September.
Yeah.
But
So I was up near Jefferson and shooting with my buddy Drew, our friend Drew, and I saw a shooting star like
yep.
within the atmosphere.
okay, that's interesting. I've
Like-
seen many of those out
Like
there.
over the water. And
Did you see
your
smoke
initial
behind
thought-
it?
No, it was like pitch black.
Okay.
But
Sometimes with the moonlight, you can even see the smoke behind it. I swear.
really?
It's crazy.
Yeah. And it's silent.
Yep.
Because my initial thought, I was like, kids playing with fireworks.
Yep. Well, it was still probably 10. No, probably more than that. It was still probably like 50,000 feet up above, right?
This one wasn't. This was like out over the water.
Oh shit.
But it was just silent, like sparkling. Drew will tell you about it.
Yeah, I'll have to ask him.
And he's more trustworthy than I on this.
He stretches things.
He's our only heckler on the show. He reaches out just to tell us how shitty of a job we do on this show. Fuck you, Drew.
Well, this one should be interesting.
yeah, I can't wait to hear. We should do a recap with Drew on it. So, slight tangent on that is the stuff in the water. Do you believe in
Like Loch Ness.
At this
or
point,
something like that?
my mind is open to everything.
Yeah.
Once you understand that these things are real, dude. I
Right.
swear to God. Like, I know they're real. There's no
So
no
bodies?
turning.
That I was so
There's
annoyed
so many-
on the coma thing
Yeah.
because I was like, answer that question.
Yep.
Like, that's the one we should be talking about.
Yeah.
Why haven't we found
It's
bodies?
funny, he kicked me right off of that once I went into talking about Patterson and stuff.
Right.
But I was telling him how, honestly, probably fewer than 100 wild mountain lion carcasses are found in North
Right.
America every year.
Yeah.
That's probably about right out of everybody that goes out in the woods, dude.
Yeah.
My best friend who got me into moose sheds has only found one bear skull in his entire life in the Maine woods.
Well, some of it with the mountain lions is they're gonna die in areas where it's
Right.
gonna be fucking hard to hike
Yeah.
anyways.
You know dragonfly earth medicine?
Yeah.
So she and her husband found one in a cave in Oregon or
Why the
Washington.
fuck are they in a cave in the middle of the Pacific Northwest?
They were out in their
That's a-
backyard.
Poor decision in itself.
They were just hiking out in their backyard and saw this cave middle of wintertime. They're like, oh shit, there's a freaking dead mountain lion right there. Unreal. One of the coolest
That's
finds I've ever
sketchy.
seen. So my theory is that these things travel in family groups or clans, and they rarely leave earshot of one another. There's a lot of people claim they hear them whistling to each other.
Yeah.
That's really common, whistle, just like a human would whistle. And I'll have to share with you some really good stories that are on YouTube right out of Maine. I was actually listening to one earlier today. This guy was up in the Allagash. He was out dip netting for smelts with his friends, and you can fill up a gallon a day of smelts, like a gallon water bottle. So they had hiked out, and he forgot his gallon water bottle, so he went down to the car, came back, and this was first thing in the morning before light, and he's walking back alone on this trail, and he heard a whistle, and he looked over, and there was a big Sasquatch looking right at him, and he has that encounter is one of the craziest I've ever heard. He goes right into every detail
Yep.
about this thing, and he doesn't want his identity to be known. He even covers up his voice in the interview. This guy's serious. He's not looking for any attention. I'm not sure really where we were going with that.
I think sometimes some of these people aren't necessarily looking for attention to their name. It's attention to the topic. Like if you not
Well,
saying,
I guess that's where I'm at. I want people to understand that it's a topic
Well, I mean more on-
deserves.
I mean more on like the nefarious side of stuff.
Yeah.
Like there are crazy people in the world.
Oh, yeah.
I think we'll both agree with that.
Oh my God, yeah.
So you're always going to have those people that, I mean, it's essentially an old school troll to be like,
Yeah.
let's get this story going and let the story take traction. It's Banksy. It's what he does. You know what I mean? It's these little artistic things where it's like, let's put this thing out that's like kind of undeniable. You know, not saying that that's what it is, but I get some of that vibe from the Bigfoot side of stuff. I am not sold that they don't exist, but I don't know.
I'm with you. Where's the bodies on that
Right.
part? But
And I'm sure you come across stuff where you're just seeing these
guess-
people where it's like,
I
I don't think you really saw it.
So is it your,
Not everybody that said they saw it saw
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
I guess is my point.
so like where you're saying they travel in like a family? So is it like a thought that they bury their bodies?
that's the theory.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that they do. There are accounts of people even seeing them burying their family members in rocks or something.
Yeah.
Out in Washington State or something, Northern California.
Because I mean that would make sense. You're not gonna come across a buried body in a
So my whole theory is that they're not really animals.
yeah.
I think they're flesh and blood, but I think they're more like you were asking. Are they more human-like? Maybe. I think they're extremely intelligent, and I do think they're hominoids. I don't think they're apes.
Yeah.
From what people have described, and that encounter, that guy describes a human-looking face, black leathery skin or gray leathery skin, big flat nose, and a lot of people claim that they've got these. What are those white candies?
Chicklets.
Chiclets. They have chiclet-looking teeth. That's very common. Like, why
Like
would
a
so
white square teeth.
why would so many people have that in their
Yeah.
in their description. Like, I don't think people are just copycatting each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't even know there were so many documented sightings until after I experienced all this and started doing my homework.
Yeah.
Right.
And found this book with, this is just Maine, you know. There's
Shadows in the Woods.
Shadows in the Woods, Chronicle of Bigfoot by Daniel S. Green. Just see, I think it goes up to like 2012 or something. So.
And how far back?
It goes back to the 1800s.
Yeah.
Let me just see.
So what's up in the 1800s?
In the 1800s, Bigfoot wasn't a thing as far as the name. Nobody called it Bigfoot.
Right. Like, what's the natives' take on Bigfoot?
So
Is
every
there-
single Native American tribe, every single one has a name and a story about these creatures.
Okay.
Every single one.
So you think there was a lot more of them before white people came to America?
I think that could go either way, honestly.
Like, could they kind of be
I think
a
we've just-
tribe of their own that was living in such a different way that the white man couldn't really come down on it?
Right. I think they were able to survive on like the Native Americans because they're able to go undetected and push themselves further back into the woods. And
Right.
I don't know, but I
Right.
think
If you're adapted to the hardiest land in your local zone, that gives you a giant leap on survival.
yeah.
Like, if you live in the hardest of
and you know it
areas,
like the back of your hand, you know.
Right.
Like
you're
nobody's
built to climb it.
nobody's gonna find you. Like that's
Right.
what people have to understand about, like, you're going out into their home that
Right.
they know. And not only that, they can move faster than you, they can sense better than you.
Right. I mean, even a human, if you took a family and just let them grow up in the woods and you were like, you can never associate with society, they're going to be 10 times more in tune with their surroundings.
You've probably been out in the woods and heard someone from a distance away before you
Oh,
even
yeah.
saw them.
Yep.
How easy
The
in that
weirdest
situation.
thing I picked up on was being in the, I've only done it 1 or 2 times, is being in the woods and not hearing anything. Like, when you really start listening,
You mean total
you hear-
silence?
yeah, total silence is an eerie
Yeah.
feeling in the woods.
Yeah. A lot of people say that's a sign of that there's a predator around.
Really.
I don't know. I don't know, dude.
I mean,
I hear
logically, probably you're
probably
in the middle of the woods,
and you're probably that predator too.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah.
yeah.
So, man,
Yeah.
squirrels drive me nuts when I'm out bow hunting. And
Yeah.
you think you hear a deer coming, and it's just a freaking little squirrel making so
Yeah, they're
much
loud,
noise,
yeah.
dude. You're
Yeah.
like,
Do you squirrel hunt?
no.
No, I want to try squirrel.
Yep.
That's my goal this year, is to start getting into more harvesting.
Yeah,
of
I've
my
never
own
tried
food.
squirrel before either. I've heard it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it's better than rabbit.
Really.
Yeah.
Oh, I love rabbit.
Really?
Yeah.
I've heard game rabbit
There's
is
tons of rabbit
rough.
where I live.
Yeah.
Ah,
Do you rabbit hunt?
no.
No.
I've almost stepped on them a few times.
Really?
It's crazy. You can sometimes they just don't move till the last second.
Dude, the pheasants or the grouse, I think.
Yep.
Those things scare the shit out of me.
Yep.
They'll let you like step on them.
Yep.
And then they freak out every time.
Yeah, they make that like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
boom,
we talked
boom.
about that on the
First time you hear that, you're like, that'll put you on edge.
Oh yeah.
Like what the?
Yeah.
It took
Have
me
you
like
had a
drumming.
Bigfoot type experience?
No.
I didn't even think to ask you about your experience.
No, I really haven't. I've had some things actually.
Strange woods encounter.
If you're in the woods, you're gonna see weird shit.
Oh yeah,
Like
I've
you
never
see in nature.
seen things, but like actually just 5 months ago out with Simon, we were on Mount Abraham, so like up by
Yep.
Sugarloaf, on the backside because we had to do monitor that easement, and there was something big there, and it was like high elevation because we were only maybe 600 feet from the summit, like right before the wood line ends, and there was something big, which
Moose.
it seemed like too high and too weird of a spot, but I mean, they can get into anything. So I don't know. Like I've had a bunch of stuff like that could be passed off as, you know, a moose or a bear or nothing that's really like, holy shit, that's freaking me out and I need to get out of here.
Right.
But I mean, I totally believe it. Like goes back to the point that, you know, we've been hiking for 15 years and I saw one bear and that was in my car. So,
Right.
and we know they're everywhere.
Right.
I gotta tell you about my uncle's sighting. Have I mentioned that too? Okay, so to this day, my uncle still swears by this. So he was like 7 or 8 years old, sledding alone in his backyard off the Weeks Road in Gardner, and a house my grandfather had built. And he swears that he saw a gorilla poke its head out from behind a pine tree and observe him for a good 10-15 seconds before it turned around and walked away. And he had no idea what he saw until like 10 years later there was a show on the Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
And he's like, holy shit.
That's what it is, yeah.
But what's funny is the guy does embellish from time to time. I can't say he doesn't always embellish, but he's so serious about this. And if you bring it up to him, it's not a laughing matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and what's strange about that, there's castings in the Bigfoot Museum, the Cryptozoology Museum, that were taken less than a mile or 2 from there.
Oh, damn.
Interesting.
And that guy...
So why is there no actual, like, evidence of it? You think that's the weird part of them?
There's videos, there are some trail cameras.
But we don't have fur?
I haven't found fur. Supposedly people have, and they've
But couldn't we send that off to samples? And
Yep, and they have been. A lot of them will come back unknown primate, or they'll come back as...
Is this a new North American thing? Or are they global?
What do you mean? Oh, Bigfoot. Huh. It's the Yowie in Australia. It's, what is it? It's the...
Yeti, I guess, would be in the spectrum of them.
Exactly. Yeti, and where would that be?
Isn't that Northern Europe or something?
Yeah, like the Alps or...
I don't know.
Where's the Yeti? That'd be in Asia, right? I think it's in Asia.
What about Russia?
Russia definitely has Bigfoot. There's a couple really good videos of children.
If it doesn't exist in North America, it exists in Russia.
I'll just have to send you a bunch of these awesome videos that I think are the real deal.
Yeah.
And there's this group of kids playing out in the snow in Russia, out in the woods, and they're following this track set. It's like, what the fuck? It's like those tracks that I posted. Did you see 2 posts ago? Big tracks in the snow that
I think I did, but it's tough looking at pictures of tracks.
It is, and you don't have a whole lot to see except for the end of my snowshoe.
Yeah.
But so anyway, these kids are following this track set. They come up over this mound, and there's it looks like a guy in a big ghillie suit looking back at him. This thing's fucking huge.
Mm-hmm.
How can people be doing these pranks if they're 300, 400 pounds? You know what I mean? This guy was huge. You could see like 4 or 5 foot long shoulder width.
Yep.
Chest like 18 inches. Like people, it's just really hard to fake, man. But people do.
But okay, so they're huge, and they travel in families. How are they eating?
It would make sense. How are they eating?
Like if it's a family of 5, and it's like
kill a deer,
the kid that used to pick. That's like that night's dinner.
Yeah, probably.
You know what I mean? Like that's a lot of harvesting.
Yeah, but I mean,
and where's the piles of those bones? Are they burying that stuff too?
Here's another theory. I think if Bigfoot stayed in the same spot, we'd find them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So they don't have a home.
I don't think they stay in one spot for more than a night or 2. That would just be my theory. If I was a Bigfoot, that's what I would do. I'd always be on the move, hunting and gathering. Yeah. I think that's what they are. They're hunter-gatherers.
Is there any estimates, like in North America, how many that people think there are?
There are, but how do you take that seriously?
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess you have to begin with the sightings and literally go across the map and pinpoint all of them.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, well, this is a hot spot. There could be X amount living in this area. I've heard this one guy say he thinks there's like 12,000 in North America.
See, that seems so high. Like
I know.
That's so many that
I know
somebody would have to.
But then
it's
you
not
think
that many.
But then you think about it. Yeah. So then you think
for
about
the
it.
whole country, like you've driven across the country.
Yeah.
So let's put that into perspective of what the hell?
That's like a couple hundred per state.
Well, I'm looking at like mountain lion population in the U.S. 20 to 40,000 estimated mountain lions in the U.S.
Barely see
right.
them. Well, we see them a lot more out
and
west.
then And then what was it? I think moose are 2.5 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or something. That's incredible.
Yeah.
You really think about it.
I don't know. I feel like 3,000-4,000. That's a number I could. Yeah.
I love the Google
The pre-fill.
autofill.
Yeah.
Because I go, how many Bigfoot in the UPS truck?
So when you even start, you have to be careful, and someone like me has got to be especially careful because I don't want to come out and try to guess something I have no.
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
No, dude, we could dive back into this on other episodes. I'm all for.
Absolutely, dude. I could talk about this for days, honestly.
See, that population makes sense.
Experts estimate there are around 2,000 to 6,000 Bigfoots within the United States and Canada, excluding Hawaii.
Canada's gotta have a.
Excluding Canada.
Yeah. No, excluding
Is that
Hawaii.
a heat map of sightings?
United States, I would assume so.
Really though, like it's all southern, southeast U.S. Like
Okay,
Florida.
Texas, Florida.
Really?
You wouldn't believe
The
this.
Floridas, they're just seeing locals.
Nope, they're
Yeah.
seeing skunk apes, and it's a big thing.
Yeah.
And I actually do believe somebody's got a legit skunk ape photo.
What's a skunk ape? Stanky ape?
It's. I guess I can't say it's Bigfoot. They don't really know either. But
Dude, the British Columbia area is just
BC
like
is
it
insane.
exists.
Well,
that would make sense.
you got to follow this guy. His YouTube channel is How to Hunt, and
Yeah.
he is a world-renowned hunting guide. And he just started coming out talking about Bigfoot last year, 2019, after people hounded him about it for like 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
And now he's coming out and he's like, "Yep, I'm going to talk about this. The reason why I'm doing this is so that everybody who's come out can redeem their credibility and not be shamed."
Yeah.
Because it's sad, dude. Honestly, like most people will not come out and share their stories or report them because they're afraid of ridicule.
Yeah.
But why
That's
haven't
just
we
the way-
gotten like a crisp photo of them? Like we got crisp photos of snow leopards at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Why is Nat Geo not doing it?
Yeah. You know how many guys they got out in the field there? They got like 360 time lapses going around mushrooms.
Oh, dude, you know what's a good one? Look up Independence Day Bigfoot on YouTube. Watch this video right now. You'll appreciate this. I think that's about as close as it gets, seeing the
See,
face.
I want to believe that Bigfoot exists. I'm very inclined that there's shit in our waters that we have no clue about. Because
Oh,
it's so
absolutely.
much harder for us to like.
Well, we're still, in North America, we're still discovering new land species. Still.
Right. Right.
It's crazy, but you're right. I mean, we don't know what.
No, we
We-
know
we
more
know-
about
The moon then.
We know probably about 60%, and that might be even high, 60% of all life in the ocean.
Yeah.
Well, and you look into, I forget where it is. It's one of the biggest lakes within a certain locale. It's like a huge lake somewhere. They have yet to map it.
Yeah. Which
Like
that's
they
wild.
still don't know
Where
the bottom topography of the whole thing.
That's insane.
Yeah. Like you'd think that that'd just be some guy
So there
would be
could be
like.
caves all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you heard about the stuff out in? I think it's Lake Michigan, one of the Great Lakes. They keep trying to figure out where this waterfall goes. They've dyed it and stuff, trying to figure out where it goes, and they can't find that water elsewhere in the watershed. It just disappears into the earth,
Huh.
and it's
Never
a
heard of
big
it.
waterfall.
Yeah.
Bigfoot Independence Day footage.
Yeah, this is crazy. Tell me, how do you fake picking up a baby like that? You had to put a costume
It picked
on the
up a baby?
It picks up a baby.
You don't pick up anybody else's baby.
Yeah, this Bigfoot picks up
A baby
Sa-
person?
baby Sasquatch,
Wow.
and the thing
What
moves.
would you do if Bigfoot just came and took your baby?
Yeah, yeah.
We had some fun times.
Good month.
Have you heard about missing 411?
I don't see it.
I just saw it.
You'll see when it picks it up from behind the rock.
We're looking at rocks.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
It's been very closely
That looks
examined.
comical. Like the pop up.
Yeah.
I see the baby.
It was shot on July 4th, like 2015 or something.
Then why is it an SD ship video? I
I've
guess
take-
it could be
I've
zoomed
taken-
in on a cell phone.
I've taken videos of deer and they don't come out good.
Yeah.
well,
And they're like 30 yards away from me, you know what I mean?
yeah, November 11th, 2016.
I just don't think these camera phones are going to ever cut it.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're about to see a huge leap.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm like, this is probably the last camera I'll buy. Like,
Oh shit.
it's getting. I mean, the new iPhones with like 3 different cameras on them. That's all they need is a 4th camera on that.
Yeah.
And that's super telly.
This one's got 3, and I'm still not satisfied with it.
Wow.
Interesting.
It's a weird video.
Yeah.
I have to do some research now.
Now, people have tried to discredit it. A lot of people, and they can't seem to find anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
The thing is a huge chest. It's the first thing I look at when I watch these videos. How big is the chest? Can you see the muscles?
Yeah.
I wonder if they're smarter than us.
That's
They're
what I'm trying
more
to say.
aware of us, and they're like, "Oh, fuck those
That's
things."
what I'm trying to say.
You know what I mean?
We're logging in their territory. Their home is becoming smaller and smaller, just like
Yeah.
mountain lions, everything else.
Yeah.
Well, like
Everything.
if humans were dropped here by aliens, which is a theory, like we don't know how we got here, so it's a plausible theory.
We're not
like-
animals. There's no hair on. We're not really.
Right.
If you really think about it, we're
Yeah.
kind of like we're aliens, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're not meant to survive
Right.
outside right now
yeah,
in January in Maine.
right. I know some people that have enough hair that they'd probably survive, but there's nothing saying that they weren't either.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe it was a bunch of aliens. Maybe it was like a TV show where they were like, everybody make your thing. We're gonna drop them onto this planet, and whatever one survives. And
Yeah.
our approach to it was like, let's build.
Yeah.
And Bigfoot's approach to it was like,
Live.
There's so many bizarre theories, dude. Some people think that they are aliens,
right,
or,
I've heard that thing.
or that they're what do they call them? The Nephilim, like they're related to the Nephilim that are in the Bible, like these giants.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're definitely on cave paintings in Utah.
Yep.
They're definitely Sasquatch that they're drawing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird, but I think a lot of folklore has to come from somewhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
We can only speculate as to what they are. Nobody really knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could be interdimensional beings.
I don't get how they're
For all
everywhere.
we know.
Like, that's what makes me wonder if there's something different. Like, if it was just an animal that was here, it would probably have its own area.
So you mean like they're in all different climates? And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense that something built like that would live in Florida.
Yep.
Like, this seems like it would be Canada. You know,
Louisiana.
Maine would be the...
Louisiana's a big hot spot.
Yeah.
Swamps.
And maybe they're...
Think about the remoteness of it, though. You got to think
Yeah,
about the
that's the-
remoteness
yeah.
factor. So nobody's gonna find you out in those swamps, dude. Nobody's
Yeah,
gonna
but you're going to
bother you.
overheat.
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
Dogs, you know,
what
a
would
lot of
happen if
animals.
you took a moose and brought it to, like, Florida?
A moose wouldn't do well. No, no. Moose need mountains and
Yeah.
alpine.
Is there bear down south?
I don't know if there's bear or not in Florida. They go all the way down to Georgia.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I want to say there are bears.
Because the bear is kind of the closest thing. If it's an animal,
Yeah,
the
there's
bear's the
bears.
closest thing that we
Yeah.
can look at it as, like a
Florida black bear.
There's another.
Ursus americanus floridanus.
Let's see if I can find the video. There's a wicked good video of a guy. He captured something. pulling bark-
4,050
pulling
bears.
bark off a big tree.
Yeah.
It was like a cypress tree or something. 4,000 bears in Florida?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And you know they're all down that center strip of it. They're not on the fucking ocean.
No.
Like,
What the hell?
so I listened to this podcast the other day. I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah.
I was sad after I heard it. So they're using the biggest lake in Florida pretty much as an aquifer to grow sugar south of Florida. And then they're discharging. So they discharge from that lake into the fields, and then those fields runoff is going into the Everglades
Yeah, that's been
at
forever.
such an alarming rate that it's desalinating parts of the
Yeah.
Everglades. So like crabs and shit
Holy
just
shit.
die.
And manatees?
I think they can move, but it's like the
Yeah, they have a special of that on. It's either on Rodden or like. Have you seen Rodden on Netflix?
It was actually the
It's
guys that were on that were on the podcast that I
Yeah.
was listening to. But it's the sugar industry, dude. And the
Cane sugar,
yeah,
right?
yeah, Florida Crystals
I
was the
forgot
company.
about that, dude.
They
There's only 2
produce,
sugar companies in the U.S.
dude, and they produce more sugar than America consumes.
Yeah.
And because of the farm bill, the government buys the fucking surplus sugar off from these companies.
As much as they grow, it doesn't matter.
As
They'll
much
just
as
buy
they
it.
grow.
Yeah.
At the
It's
end of
all
the season,
subsidized.
everything they have extra, they're like...
Yeah.
And there's tariffs on import sugar.
Yep.
And it's just doing nothing for the environment. Obviously.
Nothing.
No.
It's fucking everything up from that lake on.
Why don't they just grow, I don't know, sugar beets?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
in Iowa or something.
Yeah. I'm gonna go check.
Crazy.
What the hell?
It's crazy.
What do you think about, we talked about the corridor stuff. How are
We
you?
went over it a little bit last week. I went into that meeting just wanting to listen. And I think a lot of the people on the no on the corridor thing don't really get it, which was kind of why I was having a tough time wrapping my head around it. Because it's a bunch of people that own Priuses, bought early into solar, and they think that they're saving the world, you know? And then you get the random guy that's coming up to the podium and he's like, I haven't had power for 10, 15 years. I live in the woods. I go get my own water. This is going to affect my life directly. And it's those guys where you're like, fuck, okay. You know, like, I don't know. It was interesting going there because it just kind of made me hate liberals a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, everyone standing up was just like, I am great, you know? But I did hear a few facts that just made me not want it to go through. One of the bigger ones, by the way, it's not 300 yards, it's 300 feet.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
300 yards, when I first heard that, I was like, there's no way.
It's still not much in the grand scheme of what Maine's woods are,
No.
you know. But
But if you walk 300 yards out in the middle of the woods, you'd be like, holy shit, I just covered some ground.
right, yeah. So there's a proposed line through Vermont that's already been approved that goes underground. So there's that side of it. Why the fuck are we even looking at Maine? And if we are, then it sounds like we have a good reason for a bidding war.
So Vermont's is going to go underground.
Yeah. It's DC line, so it's supposed to go underground because it's more fire prone. So they want to go through these woods that don't have local fire crews. Like, if there's a fire on a DC line in the middle of the upper Kennebec, who comes to deal with it? You know? That's going to turn into a big forest fire before they can deal with it. And then the thing that really rubbed me the wrong way was that there was 20 proposed wind farms that got turned down because there was no viable way to transmit the power to the grid. And that corridor is almost drawn to make those viable. So the whole upper Kennebec Valley would pretty much turn into a wind farm, which I'm sure you've spent enough time up there that you're like, let's not. That place is fucking gorgeous.
Most people who live up there are very against it.
Yeah.
The wind farms.
Yeah. Well, and the ones that they did put up through there, there's not local power. They're they're like on the doorstep of my mom's camp. And there's no power to no house in that area has power. So it's like, so you just used this area that will not use the resource that you just put in.
Yeah, of course, makes money.
Right. And there was no one there to bitch.
Yep.
The other crazy thing about windmill farms is that when they go through, they obviously have to give the town money that they're going into. If it goes into a township, it goes into the general fund. So a town doesn't get
That
it. A
makes
town
sense.
has to say, hey, we need some money. You know, so they pretty much just pay off the state government instead of the local government, put it into a township, and, you know, it's easier to grease that wheel than the local wheel.
Yeah, I got to find out more about it. On the pro side.
You know what was real interesting to me is Lewiston was all for it. Everybody that got up from Lewiston was like, we should do this. And it's because the DC to AC conversion happens in Lewiston. So they'll make millions and millions and millions of dollars off of it.
Did you hear about the 2 or 3 outfitters that were paid off? Hunting outfitters? Yeah, this was about a year and a half ago now. Totally opposed to the project when it was first announced. And whoever, CMP or whatever, whoever's financing this project came in and paid the outfitters $10 million to keep their mouths shut and to support them. $10 million. It's in paper. It really happened.
That's crazy.
And now they all support it.
Are they still in business? I guess it doesn't matter. They have $10 million. That's
CMP.
crazy.
These hunting outfitters that were paid off by CMP because they initially were not in support at all of the corridor, and now they support it.
Did that come up at the?
No.
No.
But it was probably one of those things that everybody in the room already knew.
Yeah.
How is that not illegal? You know,
I don't know.
isn't that like bribery kind of?
Yeah, but at that level, it's like whose lawyer's better.
Yeah,
You know?
CMPs.
Oh, yeah. The best part, Mike didn't find this as funny as I found it, but this dude got up and he made a few good points, and Jill Stein was there from Massachusetts. And he goes, and Jill Stein, I'd like to thank you for single-handedly putting Trump into presidency. And then turned away from the mic and walked off, and everyone was like, boo! I was like,
That's
yes!
awesome.
So funny. Just like, because he had a few good points, and then
Well,
everyone was
hey,
just
I
like,
mean-
fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Dude, we all want to see the politicians fighting less, right?
Right.
We all do. But people on the left need to understand what they're doing wrong and why this is all happening the way
Yeah.
it's happening, because they didn't play their cards the way they should have, and they're continuing to do so.
Yeah. They've just
Like,
had a
learn,
four-year hissy fit, basically.
Just swallow your pride. Let's.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel weird identifying more with the Republican side.
It happens as you get older.
Yeah, but it is just kind of like, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like, the Liberal Party has just been hijacked by, I don't even know what.
Globalists. That was what they
Is
say.
that what it is?
That's what they think.
But even on the local
Definitely-
level, like the
definitely
local
foreign.
Democrat just annoys you.
It's almost like, I don't know, it's just the type of cards that they play, I think. That's frustrating people. You're going to tout equality and then go and give somebody more voice because they're black or a woman. Come on.
Yeah. Well, and the whole hate speech thing, Mike and I were talking about it a little bit before you got here. Like, that's not freedom of speech. Being able to tell someone you can't say that because it's hateful and harmful to somebody's emotional state, that's tough fucking shit. That's the First Amendment, is tough fucking shit.
Yep.
I'm allowed to say it.
You're not going to be pleased with what anybody says all the time.
Right.
You know? It's just like,
Yeah. And I mean, I watch a lot of podcasts on YouTube that are a little on the edgy side. You know what I mean? I like people that are willing to say what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Even if they don't end up thinking it later on. Like, we're not allowed to like talk our thoughts out with people anymore in a public forum, and that's why there's no sense of community in any of these spaces anymore. You know, I was talking to somebody about it the other day. I was like, I hadn't seen Mike for months, and we've had 8-hour-plus conversations because of this podcast. And since then,
holy shit.
you know what I mean? And we were like best friends growing up. You know, we're in this weird area where it's people that are doing these types of things are engaging in that thing that the forefathers used to engage in, where they'd sit down and talk about topics. And, you know, I mean, Mike's seen it with me all the time. Is I'll say something and he'll be like, I know you're thinking through something right now. You don't totally mean what you said.
I just don't think it's fair that so many people on the right get blamed for what the extreme right does. And that extreme right is so few of the people who make up, just like the left,
Right.
the extreme left. So few of those people make up that, you know, that percentage of the whole left, but for whatever reason, their voice gets heard more.
Yeah.
And like overcompensates the rest of the party. It just shouldn't be that way.
Well, it keeps us busy. I've said to a lot of people before, imagine how much would be accomplished in the political spectrum if weed had been legal all this time. Imagine how many people it's kept busy fighting over this plant that would have put in their effort into something else.
Gives people something to do. And
Right.
Absolutely.
So if we keep us busy now being pissed off at each other, you know.
Times ahead are going to be pretty weird.
It
dude.
is.
Yeah.
They really are.
Can you imagine if Bigfoot came out and he was real? It's like, I'm running for president. Y'all have been fucking this shit up. I wonder how many people would vote for Bigfoot.
vote
If
for
like a Bigfoot came out of the woods
And he was just super
like,
intelligent
yeah,
like an alien.
Hello. I've been watching you guys.
I vote.
I think I would too.
Yeah.
Like it can't be worse than Trump.
No.
And then everybody would be like, but is he an American?
He has no papers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I think we should kind of wrap this one up.
Sure.
Camera died like 10 minutes ago. So
Oh, yep.
sorry to the watchers, but you didn't miss anything.
Yep.
We're at like an hour and a half. Is there anything that we didn't touch on that?
Oh,
You
not
wanted
really.
to
We can
touch on?
cover it.
Yeah, I think we should do another one.
I only got about halfway through my encounter shit, so we'll
Do you want to finish it?
We'll save it.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll do some research.
I got to get
It's
better at letting people finish.
Dude, I'll send you guys some cool links, some videos, some stories.
Yeah.
I'm really mostly interested in what I'm finding out in Maine.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's crazy to me, there's a lot of activity around Lincoln, Knox,
Yeah.
and Waldo County, right where I live.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tons of fucking sightings. So
I'd be curious when you come back to hear more about what was going on when Maine was settled.
Yep, sure.
I mean, I can look into it too, but I've been fascinated with that lately. Just realizing what people have gone through. Like, the thought of settling this land blows my fucking mind. That people landed on a boat here and they're like, okay,
Yeah.
Grab an axe,
Yeah,
let's,
how they ended up in like way north and
yeah, and just like the initial
All the
city. Like
industries.
you show up to woods.
Oh yeah.
That's the first thing you got to deal with. Is like, okay, let's.
Log your way through the state.
Yeah, like-
Dude,
Yeah,
for
blows
real,
my
there
mind.
was not one meadow in Maine when they got here.
Right.
And 100% old growth. I can't remember what they said some of these pine trees were. I think some of them were like 8-9 feet in diameter,
Yeah.
dude.
It's ridiculous. We'll do a episode on the king pines. I think that's a super fascinating thing. Do you know anything about that?
No.
It's pretty much the king owned all the trees over here.
Oh, yeah.
And that was
Yep.
the precursor to the Boston Tea Party, basically.
I wonder, you know about the ice industry, the river ice
A
industry?
little bit.
So like the Kennebec River and the Eastern River, up where I'm from, were like the number one source of ice for worldwide for people before refrigeration.
Interesting. Yeah.
Somehow sawdust, they'd ship these big blocks of ice off to wherever,
Right.
India.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's wild. Maybe we'll get back into that.
Yeah.
You're welcome to come on
Thanks for
and
having me
talk
on.
about anything, really.
Yeah,
I
I'm not really a good speaker or anything,
No,
but
you did fine, dude. It's
that
whatever.
was fun.
I like the roughness of it all.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
cool. I have no idea what's coming up next week, guys. We got some more guests. Maybe Jim will be back. Who fucking knows? Maybe it'll just be me. Mike keeps fucking running out of the room. Have a good one, guys.